John Stossel.
In just 64 days, Sarah Palin has gone from obscurity to celebrity. Arguably, she's a bigger draw than the presidential candidate who picked her.
She is extraordinarily charismatic with a tremendous ability to connect with her supporters. She is also arguably the most polarizing figure in this year's campaign. As she strives to become America's first female vice president, we sat down to talk about sexism, kids on the campaign trail, and the stinging criticism of her candidacy. Whether her ticket wins or loses next Tuesday, it's likely you haven't heard the last of Sarah Palin. She has ushered in a season of Politics Plus.
Senator, I am honored to be chosen as your running mate.
Politics plus instant celebrity. Politics plus instant identification.
I feel that Palin is exactly what we need.
God bless America!
She is like me in many ways. I think I'm proud that she's a woman.
8 weeks ago, most of these people hadn't heard of Sarah Palin. 3 days ago in Ohio, they waited hours to see her. She was backstage with her husband, Todd, and the newly famous Joe the plumber, who brought along his new agent.
I think the Republican National Convention was the turning point for her. She arrived, everybody was expecting this kind of mousy governor they'd never heard of from Alaska, and she just blew it out of the park.
More than 37 million people watched her acceptance speech. Her face-off against Joe Biden gave the vice presidential debates their biggest audience in nearly 2 decades. And her appearance on Saturday Night Live brought that show more viewers than it has had in 14 years. But along with the Klieg-light attention has come some very harsh criticism about her ability to lead the nation, about her wardrobe, and about alleged claims that she behaved like a diva, the kind of accusation never leveled at a man.
Do you think the campaign coverage of you has been sexist?
Oh, I think there's obviously been double standards there. I mean, talk about my wardrobe and never talking about the male candidate's wardrobe, or the questions posed to me of how will I be able to serve in office and still raise a family? I've never heard that asked of a male candidate.
But is it a double standard? I mean, reporters certainly mocked John Edwards a lot for his $400 haircuts, and when the report did come out about the wardrobe purchase for your whole family, it was a lot of money, $150,000.
It wasn't $150,000. I never saw a final bill, and it's not our property, just the clothes aren't. It was convenient because we showed up for the convention with overnight bags, so it was convenient to have some tools there to be able to borrow.
That is ridiculous. If Joe Biden had gone out or somebody had spent $150,000 for him on new clothing, he would have gotten killed for that as well.
While gender equality works nicely in theory, most women in the public eye will tell you the reality is that they are held to a different standard.
Sarah Palin, she can't win. It's a lose-lose situation for her. If she dresses frumpy and doesn't care about what she wears, then she gets attacked for dressing frumpy and not caring about what she wears. Then she's made fun of. She's called dowdy, you know, in the way that public women are. If she
Senator Clinton
Senator
took a lot of
Clinton,
criticism.
Janet Reno, anybody in the public eye who doesn't step up and dress well gets criticized for that.
For all the hullabaloo about the superficial, there were deeper concerns raised about Sarah Palin's readiness. One poll out today says 59% of voters think she's not prepared for the job of vice president. Questions regarding her qualifications were raised even by some notable fellow Republicans.
I don't believe she's ready to be president of the United States, which is the job of the vice president.
If they don't want someone to make rookie mistakes, perhaps they shouldn't pick a rookie in national politics.
He threw a Hail Mary pass.
There have been a chorus of voices from the Republican Party, stalwart Republicans who've come out and said they don't think you're qualified to be vice president.
And I have never met any of those whom I have heard to have written something or said something negative. I would love to meet these people, have a conversation, and instead of them just superficially making a statement like that.
But what about the voters? I mean, why is there this lingering issue with you and this question about whether or not you have what it takes to be an effective vice president?
I don't know, but there have been many underestimated persons who have been elected to office and have really been then provided the opportunity to prove the pundits wrong.
If you could take a do-over in this campaign, what would it be?
I can't think of anything.
You are no stranger to politics. You know politics can be rough. Were you, however, surprised by the fact that people would show up outside of a hotel room of yours wearing T-shirts that said something vulgar about you, or that people would email your children calling you words I can't even say on national television?
I think just disappointed in some of that. Disappointed that my kids had to see that and have had to see that. And I think that the best perspective that was shared with me on all this was my 14-year-old daughter. And she said, Mom, how can that guy say that about you? He's never even met you. And I thought that that was nice, that, okay, that brings me right back to the reality.
Sarah Palin says day in and day out, it is her children who ground her. They were with her today on the campaign trail, dressed up for Halloween.
Happy to have up here also Piper. She's the snow princess today. And Willow, and we have Trig with us also.
While the candidate was with her children today, as with many working mothers, there are times when she can't be with them, and moments that are missed.
I know when I'm traveling and I'm on the road, I miss bedtime with my two boys. I mean, are there things that you feel like you miss because you have undertaken this campaign,
Well, I probably miss the same things that the male candidates miss when they are not with their children for a day or two.
But never before has America seen a candidate for national office carrying her baby to major political events. The youngest in the family, 6-month-old Trig Palin, is a special needs child, and he draws his own crowd.
I've been struck by the fact that at many of your campaign rallies, families with special needs children arrive. They bring their babies, their children. That's almost not about politics. That's a human connection that you've made.
Absolutely, and it's the most beautiful sight for me, looking out there and seeing these families who have a look of thankfulness on their face because they're realizing, okay, we have someone here who understands.
While Trig is often at Sarah Palin's side, her oldest son, Track, is not.
My 19-year-old, my son, he's in a Stryker brigade in Iraq. My son has a fifth of my heart over there with him in Iraq. He has my heart. And then my daughter, who is 18, and she and her fiance starting their own family. So, you know, you start ratcheting down the numbers even, and you realize that this isn't impossible. The logistics involved in family and being able to balance family and work life. Millions and millions of American women do this all over our country every day.
4 days before this historic election, this particular working mother is out working for votes.
Our next Vice President, Sarah Palin.
If it doesn't go your way on Tuesday, 2012?
I'm just thinking that it's going to go our way on Tuesday, November 4th. I truly believe that the wisdom of the people will be revealed on that day.
But the point being that you haven't been so bruised by some of the double standard, the sexism on the campaign trail to say, I've had it, I'm going back to Alaska.
Absolutely not. I think that if I were to give up and wave a white flag of surrender against some of the political shots that we've taken, that would bring this whole, I'm not doing this for naught. No, we're gonna progress. We're gonna keep going forward. So it is all worth it, and I'm not complaining about any of it.
We invited Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Joe Biden to sit down with us, but he declined our invitation.